Welcome to another Angels Positivity and Love show. Incredible guests the world over with amazing insights, experiences, and usually quite interesting skill sets. They're here to help others. They have big hearts, and we're super fortunate to have Paul Sugar back. He's one of our veteran guests out of Arizona, Scottsdale. He wears many different hats. If I had to just put it this way, he's steady Eddie, and he's the type of guy you want to grab if you want to get into meditation, expand on your meditation abilities, your mindfulness. He's been teaching both for 50 plus years. He's been on stage with Deepak Chopra. He's taught at Omega in the past. He's also super intuitive, plugged in. He's had out of body experiences, near death experiences, just quite more than that. And yet, he stays very present for the rest of us. So if you're looking for intuitive development, help with situational awareness in your life, and just really tapping your heart more, embodiment. How about that? Getting into your body more so you can walk a smoother path. That's Paul Sugar. It's why he's been so popular with so many other guests. We've had him on a lot of mind, body, spirit panels, and he's always a delight. Paul, great to see you again. Great to have you back on.
Good to be here, Michael.
Hey, we've got a lot going on in humanity, and in a way, when hasn't it been complex? When hasn't there been mass quantities of harm, violence, and other details going on? We don't need to get into those details, but do you sense that there really are some changing winds going on? You've had a lot of experience. You've been focusing on so many different modalities and learning different things from yoga to East Asian studies to India studies to other stuff since the 60s. What's your sense today? Is there really something happening for mankind right now?
Yeah, well, two things are going on. Like you just said, number one, there are so many different things going on now, more so than in the past, for a lot of different reasons. The second item has to do with consciousness and the veil being lifted on so many different people. And I see that all the time with my interactions with my students in my classes. Um, I talk with other people in this field, and they are experiencing, seeing the same thing with the veil being lifted for so many people. And when that starts to happen, people start to have many more insights. And so people are generally having way more insights. They're even having many more paranormal experiences, whether it has to do with seeing interdimensionally, telepathy, out-of-body experiences, remote viewing. It's all becoming a big deal and a topic of conversation and interest and curiosity with a larger percent of people on the planet now than ever. And I believe, and what I see is that it is expanding as well.
And I should have mentioned your mindfulness material is being distributed across many public school systems. For example, like the LA public school system, Atlanta. I mean, I'll just take a guess at the number of states, at least 38, maybe 40, 44 states or so across the
Yeah,
country.
yeah.
And again, and mindfulness and meditation are a great way to get started, but there's certainly something more going on. Do you want to just try to explain that? But let's include our galactic friends. And that's going to be a lot for some people, but not really anymore. Not with the government, Pentagon, and other organizations hot on disclosure. But that's kind of a drip, 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 and very scientific or very this, very that, very lacking in many ways. Can you do a broader, more grandfatherly, fatherly, gentle energy for us on why we should actually look forward to having some loving beings helping us out?
Well, as you mentioned before, there's so much going on in the world right now. You didn't mention this, but a lot of it is chaotic. And I was talking to somebody just yesterday who has a son that is experiencing lots of anxiety right now, and so she wants me to meet him, talk with him, so forth and so on. What he said to her was, I'm anxious and I'm depressed. And he said, if you're not paying attention, then let's see, what was the quote? If you're paying attention to what's going on now, then you're anxious and you're depressed.
Yes.
I understand what he's saying because I hear it from lots of other people as well. He sees it as an absolute. I don't. I think you can pay attention and not be anxious or depressed or have any of those negative experiences in your life. It just takes a little bit to flip over the paradigm so that even though you're paying attention and you're noticing the chaos that's going on, it doesn't have to affect you in such a way that you become anxious and depressed and lacking hope and lonely and all of those things. There's no need to go down that road, even though you're aware of all the chaos that's going on.
We're going to get you to talk a little more about this, but first I'll just say as a response, is that so? That's a quick Zen pun back to Paul.
Mhm.
And that's taken me probably 15 years to really appreciate that no matter how happy you are, how ecstatic, or how much the bad news just came in, or you had a business appointment, the other person stood you up at Starbucks and you're sitting there for 3 hours. Is that so? There is something to it. And Paul, that's one leg of three legs here. Here's the second leg. Angels also said, it's probably 10 years ago. You can be happy now in this very moment without a single reason. The third leg has three sublegs to it, and it's complex. But I'd like you to string them all together and keep going with this topic. It's three different stories. There's Elizabeth April on Instagram, intuitive remote viewer. No matter what you think of her or how you view her, she had a beautiful story with her child, maybe under 5 or 6 years old, another adult in the room, 5 marbles. And the kid knows how to count. So they stick the marble into the kid's hand, the child, and the child says one. Two marble, second marble, two. Third marble, three. Fourth marble, four. Fifth marble, the adults see it go in. The child says four. And I think the story goes there's only 4 marbles there. Kid had a different reality going on. The second story is Celestine Prophecy. There's a moment with Edward James Olmos, the collective of the group of good people, being hunted in the jungles of Latin America by soldiers. If anybody remembers the Miami Vice Police Chief from the old TV show. But they raise their vibe. I'm not going to tell the rest of the story, but they raise their vibe. The soldiers go right by, inches away from them. Okay, that's the second piece. The third is Cynthia Sue Larson. She's got the Mandela effect sort of theory or books. Beautiful. She's coming on a third time for the show. She had a couple write in, and the gentleman in the household, they've got high vibe, I guess. He gets injured somehow. Paramedics come, take care of him temporarily. They got to go to the ER room. They know that thing is packed 24/7. Every stall is packed. I mean, packed, packed, packed. They get there, no one, no one, no one. Every stall is empty. Two really nice nurses. And between those four medical people, good interactions. They get in, they get out over a 3 hour period. It gets fixed up. They never see anybody else, but the nurses are acting like the place is packed. The paramedics are they're straddling two realities. Now, with all that, can you kind of weave it all together? You've had a lot of experience exploring the cosmos, consciousness, awareness with galactic beings, whichever way is the person who's listening needs to hear it. You're seasoned, and I'm not sure people appreciate how seasoned. You're like an astronaut, except an innernaut or a heart knot, whatever you want to call it. With that, I'm going to zip it and see if you can, because you're like also a poet or a Homer here. You know how to weave all this stuff together, a computer in a way. So I've given you a lot of data points. Talk to us about how we create our own reality and our own awareness.
Yeah, so lately, there has been a lot of discussion about the phenomenon that you just talked about. And not only is it coming from people who don't necessarily have this kind of background, but it just happens to them, but it's coming from people who do have this kind of background, plus it's coming from the scientific community. Now, when I say the scientific community, what I mean is uh, people in the quantum physics field. Now, it's true that the field of quantum physics has kind of been in. a chaotic state for the last 30 or 40 years. It seems like the subjects that they're dealing with are so controversial that it becomes difficult for a certain number of them to agree about anything. And so it's been pretty chaotic that way. That being said, a lot of the discussion in the quantum physics field has to do with interdimensional experiencing and how we live on multiple dimensions at the same time. And it depends on how you're able to tune in to one dimension versus another dimension. I've had a number of experiences like that that were just not explainable over many years.
Can you share
And
one while you're at it? Can you just share one?
let's see, which is a good one. Okay. In 1971, I had one like last week, but for some reason I want to tell this one. In 1971, myself and a group of other people were visiting uh, a writer on the Kaballah and esoteric subjects in England. His name was W.E. Butler, and he wrote a number of books on the Kabbalah, Western mysticism, Western esotericism, and so forth and so on. And he was taking us around the different sites in southern England. And one of the sites was Stonehenge. And he had bought tickets ahead of time. So when we got there, he pulled out the tickets. I think there were about 10 people in the group, and he counted out the tickets. And there were only nine, but he knew that he had bought 10. So he handed the tickets to somebody else. They counted out nine, and it was verified that he had somehow lost one ticket. So I said, let me see those tickets. I wanted to make sure that everybody counted them correctly. So I'm counting them, and there's 10. And then, so from nowhere, that 10th ticket materialized. And we had had at least three people confirm that there were only nine. And so that's one example. And there have been, as I said, many others. Um, in fact, the one last week, which for some reason I can't even remember at this moment, which tells me that that's the one that I should have shared.
Well, let's get the one last week in just a second, but I'm going to interrupt the flow a little. We'll bring in some other true experts that are unconditional love and see how they want to weigh in. This will be angels and maybe an unconditional love figure that's not an angel, but for the audience's perspective, they're all beings of light and they're all without human thinking, judgment, not burdens. Sort of like, if you talk about quantum theory and all of the different communities, it's a little bit like the Middle East politics stuff going on. There's different groups, some are warring or not quite content with what others are doing and so on. So this is a lot of peace and love and happiness, and it's up and up, a lot of sharing. Here's Joy, if you don't mind getting an angel's view just to kick in how we're each our own reality.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. We are each our own reality. I like that.
Okay, but you got to have her kick in one extra thing that Paul Sugar. I'll shut off all the psychic stuff at this end. Okay, what's Paul Sugar hearing as a little extra? It could be humorous.
I'm getting an image. I guess it's a metaphor of that multiple reality thing. And so if you're familiar with those Russian dolls where they all fit inside of each other, that's how I see ourselves, that you can have all of those different selves inside of each other, each one representing another dimension. And that's really who we are. And at some point, what we want to do is to bring all of those dolls together so that they merge into one experience, knowing that you can always go back to the multiple experiences of all the different dolls.
Now, I've got a very sophisticated and unfortunately slightly complex question, which we don't have to get answered, but I'll put up Gabriel Archangel Michael, Archangel Gabriel, and a Charlotte. And so this one's a little complex. Is it one group, humanity awakening together, or are the people locked into power, control? I don't mean LA traffic with cars, I mean the other type of traffic. People who are really not spending their time in a productive fashion. Is it a potential split for humanity? Different realities in different directions? And that's a reasonable question to ask. We don't have to delve into it today. But is that one of the ways that you can reconcile all the diversity on planet Earth?
Yeah, I would say that's accurate.
That's
Yeah,
a pretty
there's
momentous statement in a way. There's a TV series on like HBO or Showtime or something called The Leftovers, where like a good portion of the planet disappears from their perspective. But, a lot of people just moved on. Um, Here's four archangels. Is there a gentle way you can sum that up? Just that, is it a way of reconciling higher vibes that don't jibe with lower frequencies?
yeah, and it doesn't have to be a judgmental kind of observation. It can just be that there are certain groups that are moving on and there are certain groups that are not.
Oh, I mean, Paul, we've done 500 tapings here now, 75 or 76 for me solo yapping away, trying to show people how to listen to angels, see angels, get hugs, and so on. The rest, though, guests, multiple guests, you've been a guest a lot. Out of everything we've ever said, and a lot of it's very important for tactical, practical, this, that, broad, love and above. But I would say it's a pretty momentous statement you just reflected to us from a historical perspective for mankind. Can you take another minute on that and just see where you want to take us? Maybe free flow it a little bit.
Let's see.
I mean, the Mayans disappeared, other populations have disappeared. We'll call it graduated, moved on. We don't know. It could have been disease. It could have been this. It could have been that. Science will have a field day with that and say none of what we're talking about is possible. But um, and here's Min, a angel with a serious background. Not trying to say she's serious, but soft-spoken professor. She can throw in a little energy or direction or some suggestions to wind up the clock here. What do you got for us?
I got a couple sayings that
Ooh.
have stuck with me over the years that address that particular phenomenon. One I think is from the Bible, and if I don't misquote it, it's "and the meek shall inherit the earth."
Mm.
So that suggests that there's one group that's going to inherit the earth and the other group isn't. Now, you could argue, do you want to inherit the earth or don't you? So that's another question that I've thought about over the years. The other quote that addresses that split um, comes from one of Bob Dylan's early songs. And the quote goes like this: "Those not busy being born are busy dying."
Mm.
And so we could say those who are busy being born are going to move on, and those who are busy dying are not.
Innocence versus a lot heavy doses of thinking, control, fear-based stuff that cuts you off from the greater flow of life. I'll throw up a couple more experts, but we're going to go galactic in a second as well. Let me get my baby deer pictures off my iPhone. We were just before the show showing mutual baby deer photos, so that's not going to help us in today's discussion. But I've got Abe, the Abraham of old, biblical figure, angel. He'll tell you he's a jerk in human form, but he's a grandfatherly figure. Just think Gandalf or Dumbledore out of that Harry Potter series. Sweetheart. Anybody who wants to get a little extra, you can get cigar smell or cologne or some sort of a fatherly, divine masculine feel. Here's Abe. He can do a little explaining. Could you get a lot of in-depth stuff that's just personal for you? And then you're going to take it to third grade level for our audience. And he can even help you with the second bit. You're super fast, Paul. So make sure you get a lot of good detail for your own consumption for the bigger picture for this year, next year. And then,
Do you want to stay along the lines that we've been discussing?
yeah, the whole, there's a possibility of like, I don't know if I can call it a timeline split or a consciousness split. It would solve a lot of stuff, would take care of a lot of stuff very quickly. Um, But there's other ways to also there's more hope and love coming for mankind, period, before I think that potential split would happen. People will have more time to practice being in their heart, appreciating nature, each other, and themselves, self-love, before anything quite drastic goes down.
Yeah.
Or not.
Yeah. No, I mean, there's my feeling is that, well, it it's hard to separate the past, the present, and the future nowadays when it comes to interdimensional thought and experience. Um, but let's see, what do I want to say about that? It was right there.
I'll put Charlotte up again. Charlotte can clean it up, and it's is it more wait and see mode for mankind right now?
Yes. Okay. Thank you. You saved me there. So what I wanted to say about the past, present, and the future, my experience of it, traveling interdimensionally with that, is that it's in a constant state of flux.
Mm.
And so until the very last moment, it's not written in stone.
It's all possibilities at once, which we
It's
cannot grasp
all,
with thinking.
yeah,
Oh my
yeah,
goodness. Okay, Paul, we're going to blow sage. We're going to blow some energy. We're still going to keep coming back and pecking at this like birds at a bird feeder, but we're going to have fun. You're even going to get a dad joke. And for the audience, I've now known Paul in terms of the show and stuff like that, 3 years or so. He is getting quicker and quicker. Before I can finish the question, he's like Geronimo, the unconditional love spirit guide. He's answering the question before you can finish the question. So Paul's super fast. I'm going to light sage. He's probably already smelling sage, but for the audience at home, wait for the smoke. Light your heart, which is already connected to everything that already is. And that's the gateway. Seth talked about it in the 1970s. Jane Roberts, Peaceful Warrior, the bar scene. You're already there. There's nothing to gain, nothing to lose, as angels put it. Stop the doing and move past seeing the negative. So that's where science is going to have a real problem getting any of this. Okay, here's the sage, but if you could get something extra besides sage that's unusual, is it India incense? Is it roses? What are you getting, Paul, that's beyond the sage? I'm assuming you got the smoke in Arizona already.
yeah. I'm getting what are those white fragrant flowers? Gardenia, getting gardenia.
So and I wouldn't even know what those smell like. So that's very
Yeah, well,
cool.
those are some of the nicest smelling.
Okay, who's your most sage representative? Is it Archangel Michael? Is it Gabriel? Is it Charlotte? Is there somebody else you'd want to pull in? A Pleiadian? Can we have all four? Pleiadian, Heinrich Eric A, two archangels, and Charlotte. Can we let them be your helpers here for just a second?
Sure.
I'm gonna blow energy your way. Love and above. I'll look like I'm cheating at ping pong, or I'm a goose. I'll have two paddles, or two wings, or a swan. Let's do a swan. And my microphone's down here below. I'm gonna blow a lot of light, a lot of energy. If you want to see symbols, glitter with your eyes closed, open at home, just feel a whoosh. We've been doing this on panels where each person's getting something different or the same. It's been fun. So allow for what you can allow for. That's really all you can do in each day moment. It's all the same. Here we go. One dad joke though first. What's the only flower found on the human face? Tulips or iris? It gets Paul
Very,
every time. Exactly. He's heard
very
it
good.
before. Okay,
Very
here comes
good.
the whoosh. And we're doing this to blow out, instead of like doing anything jungle juice or any other types of mind altering, whatever, to open you up. We're just doing this to blow energy away, light symbols, maybe a symphony of light. They'll answer in a non-linear fashion that'll get you talking. So we're going to wind you up here with a little bit of light. Are you ready, Paul? Just give me a yes or ready. Yep. Okay, here we go. How about them apples? Did you feel it?
Oh yeah.
Okay, one more, and then we're going to get you talking. So allow Charlotte, she'll be your ambassador to get you a lot of energy, a lot of light. And this may shoot off in a different direction because we've kind of covered the first part. What do you got for us?
I got waves from the ocean.
Ooh. Now, this consciousness thing, It's really any way you want to approach it. It's like a fruit stand. We could talk avocados, or vegetable stand, avocados, fruits, the whole thing. I mean, neuroscientists approach it one way, they're absolutely correct. Quantum field people, they're correct. India folks, gurus, the religious cultural thing, they're correct. Everyone's approaching it because whatever way you approach it with whatever lingo, they're correct, including strict science. It can't possibly be. Impossible. Like out of that Princess Bride. I don't know what he said again, but that guy was very funny. Impossible. Except there's something called the flow of life. There's the actual stream of consciousness. You've touched it, you've traveled through it. It's the dimensionality that's within our heart, and that's the broader picture. Love, love, love. It's constant. Um, Give us some more because you're a seasoned traveler over time and more. And you've got these guys helping you out. So I'm going to put up the three photos. You've got a Pleiadian helping you out. If you need one more whoosh, I'll just blow through the microphone while these photos are up. And whether you feel it or not, here it comes. I'm blowing. Have them sort of explain something else that then gets you going.
Okay.
Okay. All right, Paul. You're very professorial. We got to get you wound up here.
So you're wondering what came to me from that?
Yeah, yeah. Unless it's just peace, harmony, and love. That's okay.
No, something very specific. I had an experience the other day and it's revisiting me. Uh, I was in an altered state and I was communicating with somebody that I'm familiar with telepathically, and she was explaining to me some of the things that are coming down the pike. And so she was telling me how light beings are now coming into our world. And in addition to telling me that, she showed me what they looked like.
Mm.
And so I saw these light beings. They were roughly in the shape of humans as far as they had limbs that sort of approximated arms and legs, but it was like stretched out and they were tall and they were also made, their bodies were made out of light. And they were also in an environment that was infused with light. So I couldn't get a really clear, defined look at them, but I did see very specifically those beings and the light that they were in. And, and so it was made clear to me that they are presently moving into our dimension and will have a profound effect on the events in our world.
Isn't it a bit like trying to get over the hedge or the fence when you got two people, they do this for the other person's foot to go into, and then they give them a little boost going over. It's that type of thing. It's helping mankind for what we already signed up for. A little more expansion, a little more heart growth, a little more peace, less rat race. And I'll add one more thing. Even though, and you've got, you mentioned somebody getting anxious because, if you follow the news, facts are facts. And yet, and if you look closely or look in a different light, pun intended, it's an unwinding of organization and structure. It's maybe some short-term harm or complexity, which is providing the opportunity for more light to come in, more to be exposed in terms of what's been going on for a very long time below the surface. And there's a lot of puns there too, so that this can all get actually reconciled. Is there something to that?
For sure. The chaos is just, is there a word like obfuscation?
Yeah, it's like a
The
magic show with a lot of hands moving around, and meanwhile, stuff's going on down below.
yeah, the chaos is hiding what's really going on.
And are,
And
are the actors who are participating in the complexity who think they're doing control, censorship, restriction, and accumulating power and money? Are they actually undoing everything without knowing it? They can't help but follow their character unless there's a few that are like, I need to change my ways. But no matter how much they keep doing what they do as actors on a stage, they're kind of pushing the end of the play. It's looming closer now. We're past the first act. We're past the second act. They can't help themselves. Is there something to that as well?
Yeah, all of these major players on the world stage, I think, have different aspects of themselves that they're just not aware of.
Hmm.
And they can't help but allow that energy to come through them and to have the desired effect on the planet, which in many cases could be the opposite of what they think that they're doing. So, yeah, I mean, I'm very optimistic in that I feel that even the most chaotic events have something very spiritual behind them, something that will bring a lot of organization and good vibes to the planet and everybody on the planet.
Paul, I'm going to put up a photo of Sri Shirdi Sai Baba. It'll be colorized. Our fellow from 100 plus years ago from India, super sweetheart and super sage. Here he is. He'll weigh in on something, and you'll be able to continue with it. What's he reminding everybody about?
Let's see. Well, let's see. What comes to mind is he's reminding everybody that material things, whether it be wealth or different iterations of wealth, different expressions of wealth, although they may seem important, that there's many, many other things um, that are important to us that we need to give more attention to. And it's not that material things, that there's anything wrong with them in and of themselves. It's just our relationship to those things. Our relationship is going through changes right now so that we learn how to relate to those things in a different way, where we can then emphasize other aspects of ourselves and let go of the importance of over materialization that so many people have fallen into.
Well, let's go ahead and focus on materialization for a second. I'll show a little light between my fingers with a black construction paper background, but Blue Sky's number one. They did it in Celestine Prophecy, the movie, and I've got to plug Barnett Bain. The month of June 2026, he's a guest to the show. He taped a few months ago, but it's appearing in June of 2026. I think in like 3 weeks or something, 2 weeks, um, for the main show. And the point of that was he was involved in making the Celestine Prophecy movie. I can't remember if he directed What Dreams May Come with Robin Williams. He definitely directed Eckhart Tolle's Milton Secret movie. But so they did this in the movie. They showed a little bit of light that way. I did it. I saw white light everywhere. I freaked out for a good 15 minutes. You don't have to. But as Sue Frederick from Arizona said, hey, we were doing this in the 70s before the movie was ever made. In India, they do it this way. And lately, we just got another Merkaba, two cardinals, two phoenixes. 10 people have seen Jesus's face. You'll get what you get. But if you could bring in Grace the Light Being, you and I have talked about her in other shows. She'll be your handler here. And you'll get a little extra when I go wider and bigger and faster that will get us back to one of our original topics. What's up with mankind? What's happening now? Is it accelerating too? And not to worry. Um, okay, here's this. You get another dad joke, most importantly. What do you call a really old snowman? Water. And I'll do Yoda's voice just to crack you up more. Do? Do not. There is no try. Okay. You'll see a little filament of light between my fingers. Ignore any smudges on my left finger there. Okay. Catch a little bit of light or a lot of light. Paul, what are you getting between my fingers for a little filament stream of consciousness? What are you getting?
I'm getting a lot of gold specks.
Oh, you're awesome. You're totally invited back on the show. I'm going wider, bigger like Grace. Let the other angels do what they do. Support you and seeing with all of you. And what are you getting now?
Well, if anybody out there has seen the movie Wonder Woman, I'm getting her lariat that's made out of golden light.
Aw. And I'll stop in a second. But if you'll cup your hands like you're in the shower scooping water out of a lake off camera, let this light go through the screen. A lot of guests are doing these days, so it's no big deal. Feel that light come into your hands. It was made for you. And as you feel it, look down and you can see it. And I'll stop and be able to sit at this end while you're occupied at your end. And then enjoy it for a little bit. Then you can bring it into your heart for a hug. I'm going to get Heather, meanwhile, her photo. She's very much like Wonder Woman and Angel, very earth related here. She makes hearts in her photos. I'll try to find a photo where she made a very clear heart. And we'll bring her in next for a little extra. Okay, and here's Heather one way as a heart. And I've got a lot of hearts. You can go to my website. I got a ton of hearts that I never published, where I took it too fast or too slow. She was making the heart and I slaughtered it. I was a millisecond off. Okay, here's Heather's official photo. Feel what you feel, hear what you need to hear. Have a private chat briefly. At home, you can hit pause at this point. If you need to go hug the dog, take a shower, do a dance. If you're at the supermarket watching this, do the jig, do the chubby checker in front of the avocados. If everyone around you is laughing, you did it right. That's pure instant opening openness. Okay, Heather, what does she have and you have that can take us to the next chapter in this conversation?
I think we both have a certain type of energy that ignites events and people and things who are involved in events. It's I kind of get an image of a whole bunch of matches out there, and then we bring the fire, which lights all the matches.
And the we is you and her, or the you in Texas, yours truly?
All of us,
Oh,
the
good.
people,
Okay. All right.
the people who are doing this work.
Mm. And okay, I'll put my hand up in Texas, just love and above, not my bill paying side or my freaking out side on anything else. My soccer team just lost. Blah, blah, blah. Paul, if you could put your hand up in Arizona, same thing. Don't worry about Kyler Murray. Only the positive stuff, please. They've got an incredible gunslinger for the upcoming season, at least for fantasy football perspective. Okay, feel what you can feel and allow extra light to start coming in up and down your back. And from this, we're going non-linear. So it doesn't mean English is going away, but they're dodging the usual structure. And you'll just have whoever wants to come in, come in. And feel what you can feel. Don't judge at home. For decades to come, just love and above. Angels are shepherding this. What are you getting now for us? And we can put our hands down in a second. Oh, and are you feeling some light?
Oh yeah, it's almost like a glove
Oh,
that, that's made out of light, and my hand is inside the glove.
oh. Okay, take us another step forward. I'll put up one other figure. Let me think who this is real fast. Um, Take us through what we can do daily just to be simply cultivating our own awareness, our own peace. I'll put up red shirt, Native American chief Lakota Sioux, historical figure, unconditional love today, gentlest mom in the world, but not a manly description. I'll put up Dale and Angel with Andromeda in background. Between the two, how does this boil down to each one of us following our heart, following our bliss, letting go a little bit more? And just say ready when I can put these down.
Ready.
Thank you.
Well, those are two people who did that. And so they're setting the example for us. And if we just focus our attention on them, we'll get some of that same energy, which will help us to do the same thing.
Paul, take us through just a quick exercise of like you're having thinking, it's a little painful, you're reacting, you're rejecting, it's fear, it's worry, it's stress, it's knowing something that precludes possibility. How do we separate from our mind, our knowing, and do the embodiment thing you love talking about? Please check out all of his other shows. We get into embodiment, and a lot of other stuff too. But what's the quickest way? Is it a breath? And it's Jack Kornfield, I think, not John Kabat-Zinn, or it's the other way around. John Kabat-Zinn. Mind,
Who talks about the breath?
yeah, and the MBSR training and stuff like that. It's
Yeah, that's John.
John Kabat-Zinn. Okay, yeah, you
Yeah.
did a lot of training with him, and you were doing this way early on before it was mainstream, the MBSR training in corporate America and so on. Okay, talk to us just about a little way that we can separate from what our perceived reality is to get a broader, more easier, gentler approach to everything.
Well, the whole principle behind what I'm going to say is that so many of us are disconnected from our bodies. We live outside of our bodies, so to speak. And it varies from one person to the next. Some people are like completely disconnected, and some people are just a little bit disconnected. And so, what I've learned in my experience is through the medium of attention, we're able to reconnect with our physical bodies, which the entire ball game, changes the entire ball game because once we become embodied and we're inhabiting the body rather than being disconnected from it, it has a profound effect on our nervous system, particularly the autonomic nervous system, but every part of the body. And in doing so, it takes us out of the fight or flight mode that so many of us are stuck in. Once that happens, every cell in the body shifts. And the fear and the anxiety and all that negative stuff that usually comes with a fight or flight experience goes away. And we begin to experience what our true self is really like. And we begin to embody and experience things like love, compassion, forgiveness, appreciation, gratitude, um, kindness, things like that. That's our natural disposition. And as soon as we get our nervous system and our bodies lined up by allowing our spirits to reside in the body, the good stuff will take over and the bad stuff will go away. And so, whether you want to focus your attention on different physical sensations or your breath or thoughts or emotions, all of which are part of the body, it's through that medium of attention that we're able to transform all of this, remembering that where attention goes, energy flows. And to me, that's the whole ball of wax. When I got out of body and interdimensional, I found that the only way I could steer where I wanted to go was through the medium of attention. That's when I learned about the importance of honing that skill of being able to focus and pay attention like a laser. And so it's not just helpful interdimensionally and out of body, but it works exactly the same way in the body here on Earth. And so it's just that skill, that really, really important skill that I think everybody needs to be trained in, which is why I've contributed so much to that school mindfulness program where we've got 2 or 3 million kids doing this every day, honing their attention skills, getting themselves connected to their bodies, and realigning their nervous systems.
It's a little like surfing, or a lot like surfing. Again, where you turn and point is the direction you go. I've got a
Mhm.
quote from Carl Hammerschlag, who started off as a Yale graduated medical doctor turned psychiatrist, I think, two full-fledged occupations there. He's since passed away, but a beautiful quote by him. Um, if you have to be sure of what you're experiencing in the now, you will always subordinate reality of present to the certainties of past, which is what science does. And it's why I'm still looking for scientists out there who simply want to do basic listening, feeling, and seeing, but you might as well suggest jumping off a proverbial short cliff. Okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
science is in
disrepair a little bit.
disrepair. They're really struggling. They're being left behind essentially.
You could have, we'll be very fair here and very safe. We have a group of scientists who are all about avocados. They've studied them thoroughly, all the different nationalities out there, the countries where they grow them and everything else, but not one has tasted the avocado, or nor do they want to. You can even make great guacamole with the best chips. I'm not kidding. These chips are just, oh, they don't go stale right away. They're salty. I mean, oh, they don't want to taste the chips. Okay. And then personally, there's not a lot I remember. I'm very vacuous, and that's been a very helpful thing for me to keep moving forward. But two of my big tenets, if there's five things I think I know, good luck remembering these. Where you put your focus is where you put your focus. How you spend your energy is how you spend it. And angels exist. Trust that it's so. Your answers, hugs, and much more will come. Okay. With that, we're going to start to wrap it up in just a second. Talk to us about how kindness counts, how this is really just about gentleness, a little less thinking. Charlotte said 10% less thinking a day is the Olympic gold medal. And so, again, it's not about gaining anything, losing anything, move past seeing the negative. It ain't about structure this, go get your PhD, you got to travel to Machu Picchu. It's not externally. And I'll throw her up just in case there's a quirky, snarky quote, although she's not very snarky, a very direct quote she wants to share.
Yeah, so what she's telling me and what immediately came to my mind was kindness is what's left over once the fear is gone.
Nice, Paul. That was a good one. Bonus round, and then we'll figure out a way to really leave it with some zip here. Selenite. And I know a lot of people are like, well, it's just a piece of, it's a point, a wand, a something of selenite. Let's let this represent, and it actually is selenite consciousness. We've had like 60, 70 guests since last year connect in, and suddenly you have selenite consciousness like dolphins. You can have dolphin consciousness come in to make it a twosome here. Have bubbles, even though you're not in water, it's going to feel swirly with some bubbles coming in and a lot of playfulness. Joy, the angel, can come in. She'll be a pink dolphin helping you out on the dolphin side. But this one, you'll get a woman's voice, although it was a male's voice last year. I'll get me out of the way a little bit. You can hear sound bowls around you physically in the room and get a little bit of healing if it's been a long week or you got gardening coming up. I moved 600 pounds of little 1 inch stones for a sudden gardening project before the rains came. And that came out of nowhere, but I moved with alacrity. We'll use a word I've never used on the show before. Okay, let the selenite consciousness come in. Hear physical sound bowls around you where you're like, whoa, I just paid for myself for taking up this much of your time for the show. Let us know that you're hearing some sound bowls at home, folks. You can just say, make it so, like it's the old Star Trek series, or the newer one. Are you getting some sound bowl sounds?
Yeah, I'm getting those deep sounding Tibetan bowls.
Yes. And she talks. You might get a male voice, but it's been predominantly two-thirds female. Here, all selenite consciousness come in with some words of wisdom for humanity, just like deer consciousness, tree consciousness, elephant, whale, you name it. What's selenite reminding us to do?
To see through the chaos.
All Sugar, you're more than amazing. It's why you're now I can do it. No one has made it to the end of this. We're still a very intimate show. You're our number one guest. I hope it stays that way. Love it. You're the bestest of the restest. And thank you very much, Paul Sugar. Love you to death. Can't wait to have you back on again, and maybe we can get a panel going in 2027 or late this year. Thank you again, Paul, for what you do for mankind. You've done a lot.
My pleasure, Michael, and back at you.